and welcome into a Friday edition of the Real Monica Adams Show. As you can see, it is 7 a.m., and a lot of you just getting up. You missed the gorgeous beginning of the sunrise. Boy, I tell you what, it's been so pretty. The oranges and the reds and everything that light up the sky in the morning. So if you were up early and you saw it, tell me just how amazing it was. Maybe you were outside. Maybe you already went for your walk. All you early birds that get out there and do your early exercise. I love it. And I understand because then you just feel like you're ready to attack the day. So, for all of you that are waking up, make sure that you text your friends, let them know, hey, this show that I've been telling you about, they're on and they're on this platform and that platform. So, for those who aren't on Facebook, let them know that we're on others. They can go to YouTube or Instagram or X or Rumble or LinkedIn. You can find us everywhere. And as I posted last night on my social pages, we come to you every day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. to do what? One thing, and that is to inspire you and help you out in a better mindset as you go to attack the day. And we've got a lot that we provide for you, including our weather, which is so very pretty, at least for today. Let's see what's going to happen as all of you go downtown or into Soulard to celebrate Mardi Gras. We'll let you know if you need to bundle up for that. I won't. He will. It's our aspiring meteorologist with a segment we call What the Weather.
Good evening and welcome into this new More Weather Forecast video. My name is Beck Moore and I'm back. And I will see you soon with more weather.
And he'll see you right now. We're showing you in the snow, but I'm liking the fact that what's behind us is more what we're talking about. More Beckett and the sunshine. Good morning to you.
Yeah, it's pretty much the opposite of snow, really.
We love that. I mean, it's been really, really pretty,
Yeah.
but we're trying to figure out, what's going on with our day to day. So we've got this gorgeous day today, but things are changing. I actually even heard this morning, I was watching KMOV and I thought I heard some maybe possibility of some severe thunderstorms next week. Is that what you're seeing also?
Yeah, there will be a possibility of a couple thunderstorms on Tuesday, but the greatest threat will really be to our south, but can't rule out a couple claps of thunders, maybe some storms, especially to the south of the city.
Again, we're transitioning soon from winter to spring, even springing forward in about a week or so, which is crazy, and then officially kicking off spring on March 20th. So, as we're getting that spring fever, I was asking Beckett, you're going to play golf this weekend?
Yes,
You're trying out for your school's golf team, right?
correct. Yeah.
Things going well?
Yes.
Yes, you feel confident about it?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident.
I love it. We have to come out and cheer on Beckett while he's golfing sometime. All right, so let's talk about the beautiful day today and then break down what we're expecting to see over the next several days.
All right, so yeah, today is going to be very nice. Already 45 degrees and mostly sunny here this morning. Wind out of the south-southwest at 10 miles per hour. Now, looking at the hour-by-hour forecast, it's going to warm up into the 70s today, and that's going to be pretty quick. By 10 a.m., we're already at 60 degrees. By 1 p.m., we're already up to 70, and we'll get into the mid-70s later on into the afternoon with sunshine. Make sure you get outside today. It is going to be very, very nice today, and even as you come home from work tonight, it's going to be nice as well. Now, looking at the 5 p.m., sunny skies, and at 5 p.m., 68 degrees. 8 p.m., we do drop down back into the 50s, and then 10 p.m., 52, keeping the skies clear. Now, looking at tomorrow's forecast, 8 a.m., 35 degrees, partly cloudy, 12 p.m., 39, and then 4 p.m., 40. It is going to be a much cooler day tomorrow, but then it does get a little bit warmer as we head into Sunday. So then looking at the 7-day outlook again today, high around 74 there in the mid-70s, low around 34. Now, heading into tomorrow, we got a high around 45, again, much cooler, but still around average, just a couple degrees below average for this time of the year, low of 25. Again, heading into Sunday, warms up just a bit, high around 50, and then we really do warm up Monday and Tuesday, 55, 65 on Tuesday. Again, Tuesday is going to be our rain chance, and a couple thunderstorms could be possible Tuesday night, so that'll be something to watch on the Monday forecast, and then Wednesday and Thursday, keeping it around average near 50 degrees.
And I think I heard today is it today is a red flag warning?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so you want to explain what that is to everybody?
Yeah, so it means that you got to be careful. Don't start fires or anything like that, especially out in fields or anything, because the conditions are going to be conducive for fires to start.
And let me just say this. I want you all to follow Beckett on his social media platforms, whether it's X, formerly Twitter, or on YouTube. He's doing long format and some short format videos as well. I love how you broke down what a warning is and what a watch is when it comes to thunderstorms. And we got to be aware of that as we get
Yeah,
into spring. So thank you for everything that you do for us and for the world, Beckett. You really, truly are amazing.
you're welcome. Thank you.
All right, that's aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore. You know him, you love him, and ever want to ask him any questions or ask him to drop something into the show, please let me know that in advance. Coming up on this show, after we do our news you can use and catch you up on sports, etc., I want to let you know about something that I don't want to be sensationalistic, which sometimes people say the news is. We're not doing that. We are trying to help you along. And it's a friend of mine that I'm actually now working with, something that happened to him just a couple of days ago. So it is very raw, very real right now. And we're going to talk about protecting you. He never saw this coming, nor does anyone that gets scammed. And I don't want to scare you. This is not for scare tactics. This is for how to protect yourself. And so Corey Schonhorst is going to be coming up with me after we give you the news. And if you saw yesterday, we added something new, a new feature here. I will give you some local and regional and national news. While I'm doing that, you can also get updated on what you are seeing around the world. And I'm going to switch it around for you. Yesterday, I had Fox News on. Today, this is actually from CNN. We have the New York Times. We have Fox Sports. I'll even throw in some financial news for you. So again, continuing to up the ante when it comes to this show. We've been talking about this for the last couple of days, and as more information came in, I told you I would pass that along. So the latest now on Gene Hackman, if you haven't heard, the Hollywood actor that's given us so much in movies, etc., passed away. They found he, his wife, and the family dog dead. And now I'm hearing that they believe that they had been dead for a while. This is still early in the investigation, but his wife, Betsy, had signs of mummification when discovered, found dead in their New Mexico home. So according to an affidavit from an officer requesting a search warrant and obtained by People, the body of the two-time Oscar winner's wife was in the process of decomposing when they were found, showing obvious signs of death, bloating in her face, mummification, they say, in both hands and feet. The deputy advising the male also showed obvious signs of death. Of course, that's Hackman, similar and consistent with the female. I heard something yesterday about the possibility of some pills being found nearby, but again, they're not saying anything about any foul play and nothing about any alcohol or anything like that found nearby. But again, very, very sad. Don't know any other latest details as the investigation continues. We'll, of course, pass that along to you. All right, here locally, anybody traveling into St. Louis might be going to this. Are you going to the big Bud Light Grand Parade tomorrow? I'm sure you wish it was today because the weather is just absolutely amazing. And it figures you're going down to Soulard, you're going to have to bundle up. Now, there are two parties, one city, infinite fun. So the event on South Broadway, the big carnival, that's sold out. But the Bud Light party tent, Mitchell Tenpenny, get ready to turn St. Louis into your personal dance floor. So there's a lot of fun, obviously, with the parade itself, but it all really kicks off, or I should say it's the culmination, because there's been Mardi Gras events going on in the city for the last month. All the big kickoffs really actually happen about 30 days out. Well, now, if you've never been, and I think my friend that we're going to be talking to in just a second is actually going to this, the Mayor's Mardi Gras Ball. Have you ever been? Look at this. Murphy Lee's going to be there. It is 7 o'clock to midnight, the Anheuser-Busch Beer Garden. General admission, tables available for purchase. The general admission, $200 for this, by the way. A Live magazine and the Riverfront Times have called the Mayor's Ball the social event of the season. So you can get pictures with the Clydesdale. You can have a commemorative gift from Anheuser-Busch, of course, a ton of beads, and a cabaret-style dinner from 7:30 to 9:30. They've got open bar, etc. Yes, the tickets are pricey, but a lot of people want to be there because it's a lot of times where every social media picture is taken, it's the place to be seen. Do you like Nikki Glaser or do you not? I think it's kind of a throw up in the air of people saying, I could take her or leave her. I think she's funny. I think she gets a little raw, and some things I think she should leave alone. But Again, she's really brought attention to our area because she's just rising and rising. Well, Kirkwood, she went there. They featured the alum, and as an outstanding alumni inductee, Nikki's one of comedy's boldest voices with Emmy-nominated specials and sold-out tours. She recently hosted the 82nd Golden Globe Awards, and her HBO special, Someday You'll Die, broke streaming records. She's currently on her Alive and Unwell tour, which, by the way, did have a stop in St. Louis. She stole the show on Netflix's Greatest Roast of All Time, of course, with Tom Brady. On Saturday at 3 p.m., they have a 2025 Outstanding Alumni Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and that will go to Nikki Glaser. So congratulations to Nikki. All right, let's transition into sports news. City, city, city all day. A pre-match preview for you. City is facing the newest MLS expansion club for the very first time. So after no score whatsoever, when I went to the Blues game and we were watching City play, and they unfortunately didn't win. It was a 0-0 tie. They now are heading into San Diego. San Diego's second ever MLS match, and a battle between the league's two newest clubs. Again, as I mentioned, St. Louis, they did secure a point in their opener against Colorado, but now they are traveling to San Diego to play the expansion club. Are you a Travis Kelce fan and you thought maybe he was going to retire? That was rumors. It's not going to happen. The Chiefs tight end plans to play next season rather than retire. I mean, think about it. He couldn't go out the way that blow up was for the Super Bowl. I think that's a pretty smart move for Travis, that he's not going to retire like that. I hope they're able to come back and have a better season, and then he'll probably retire. St. Louis Blues are in action. Let's go Blues. They scored 5 goals. So it's like the last 3 games they won. The game we talked about the other night, they had 7 goals. It was like a touchdown. 5-2 against Washington was the final. And then they will play the Kings. That'll be tomorrow night. And on Sunday, they play against the Stars. All right, National Day of Junkies. Here you go. National Floral Design Day, February 28th, is also National Public Sleeping Day. So if you see somebody just nodding off, they're just celebrating the day. National Skip the Straw Day, the National Rare Disease Day. And we've got a couple others as well. Chocolate Souffle Day and National Tooth Fairy Day. And then I saved this one for the end. Now, this normally would have been something I would have put earlier in my newscast. However, this one goes right into my guest today. How do you avoid the credit card swipe scam? And today we're going to be talking about scamming. So a lot of people, they go to purchase something, it doesn't go through, and then they do it again. Sometimes that is a scam. 63% of Americans have experienced credit card fraud. Have you? The number one reason a charge is declined is insufficient funds, according to Discover, but the Better Business Bureau warns that the cards might also be declined as part of a crafty scam. According to a woman from the BBB, it's just another twist on yet many scams that are out there. They're trying to get your information. She said they have received multiple reports through their scam tracker about this deceptive scheme. One customer actually even making a purchase online, and after entering their credit card information, the page refreshed, asking them to use a different card. And when they tried the same one, they got the same error message. Moments later, they received a fraud alert from their bank saying their card was charged $2,500 and then decline. The customer told the BBB they never even attempted a purchase worth that amount. Bottom line, if something seems off, don't rush to enter another card or to repeat the purchase. But as you're going along, you're trusting. How many of us are so trusting? Well, my friend had no idea this was going to happen to him. We're going to talk about him being targeted and what he lost. And I'm going to share a story about another dear friend of mine. And boy, did she lose. And I do mean big. And what I want you to do is tell me if anything like this, not only you, if it's happened to you or if it's happened to someone or nearly happened to someone in your family, because today is about helping your neighbor, doing everything you possibly can, because they're getting dirtier and dirtier and meaner and meaner, and what is out there. I wish they would use their intelligence for something else in this IT world, right? But instead, they see you and they prey on you. We're going to talk about this and what happened to Corey Schonhorst. Please, if you have to go away, come back and watch the rest of the show. We're going to take pieces of this. You're going to see it in my stories and reels and shorts throughout the weekend as well. Just trying to help you because that's what this show is all about. So don't go anywhere. Again, this show is not mean to scare you, it is to wake you up and to let you know that these things are out there. How do we avoid those? That'll be next with Corey.
Create beautiful gardens and landscaped areas with everything you need at Hoffman Hillerman Nursery and Florist. A great selection of outdoor and indoor plants, gardening items, landscape materials, lawn and garden equipment, and much more. Hoffman Hillerman Nursery and Florist.
Hey guys, I just want to tell you, being on the Monica Adams show has just been a delight. It's been a joy. What she's doing for the community is amazing. I'm so proud to be sitting in this blue chair, being honored and honoring the people for the showcase that I'm doing for the Neiman Marcus Black Creatives in the Lou Black History Month Showcase. I want to end this segment with a poem that I wrote. I grew up on the north side. That's where it all started. Dreams, goals, and aspirations grew within me, and they never departed. You see, my environment was jaded, but that never fazed me, because what my parents instilled in me made my dreams go crazy. Mama was my cheerleader, and Papa gave me the tools. Everything could be yours, they would say. Just make sure you follow these rules. Work hard, don't look back, and keep your mind set on stable. And if you can't find yourself somewhere to sit, create your own table. Thank you, Monica, for creating this table. Take care. Be blessed.
Such a beautiful human being. And that's what it's all about. If you have someone that you know is just an incredible human being, because we do want them to align with our mission, right? Of positivity and lifting others up. I didn't know Yara Newsom. A couple months ago, and I was introduced to her by the wonderful Diane Isbell, and she just keeps bringing so many people to our table, and I absolutely love that. So, Yara, thank you for being a part of our show, and of course, thank you, Diane, and everybody else who brings attention to wonderful human beings. I met this one, my friend Corey Schonhorst, just within the last year, and we started talking about coming together from a business standpoint, and then started to become really good friends. And he told me something that just shocked me yesterday. And immediately I switched gears from what we were going to do to say, we've got to tell this story. So first of all, Corey, thanks for coming on early this morning.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
And I just have to say, just like I said yesterday, I am so sorry that this happened to you, but I appreciate, again, because it is very real and very raw right now, of you coming on to tell this story. So here you go. You go off to Chicago. You've got a bunch of plans. You're doing some personal things, and you were going to do some business things. And more importantly, you were getting ready for a really fun trip to Honduras, right?
Yeah, I was getting ready for that. But my plans were in fact foiled by a pretty slick scam that you don't think can happen to you. You know, you think about, I've often said,
Yes, and they are, as I mentioned before, they are getting more crafty and dirtier and dirtier. So you're in Chicago, okay? So walk us through this. Tell us what happened.
yeah, so around 8 a.m. in the morning, 8:30 in the morning, went into a local coffee house there and was filling out some forms and getting some stuff done as I started my day. And I was all excited. So I got like the everything locks bagel and was, winning roaming it up. And I logged on to what I thought was the coffee house internet with my phone. Almost instantaneously, I received a text message. And the text message basically stated that whomever had hijacked my phone was a professional and that they would ruin my life if I didn't comply. All they wanted was money. And then
Yep. And it didn't just stop, because a lot of people are like, oh, okay, I'll just get a text message. I'll see the text message and I'll just dismiss it. It doesn't stop there. It just keeps going. And one of the things that they do to scare people is they keep getting angrier and angrier, and it fuels, and they are alarming to you. And it depends on obviously the age. I always feel like they're preying on the elderly, and that's what we always hear. But Corey's not. Corey's in what, your young 40s, and
Yeah.
or children. We think that our children are at prey and that our seniors are, but it's all across the board. So we're gonna find out from Corey, because he's unfortunately had to talk to many officials about what they've told him to do to protect himself. But before we get to all of that, you get the text, you see that. What goes through your mind at that point, and then what happens and escalates from there?
Well, it was from a Chicago area code too, so I thought maybe I was being pranked. But then, almost instantaneously, within, let's say, a minute, I receive another text that I'm in a group thread of with my entirety of my family.
Yep.
So it's me and my family and my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, and everybody. And it's my personal information, a personal photo of myself, and basically explaining that if I don't give them money, that they're going to put this viral and things will be ruined. And so then I texted back separately and said, I don't have any money. You know, I just kind of played that card and see. And then with the time that was delivered, almost instantly, they were like, you're lying. Watch this. And then I started getting all these notifications on my email, on my phone, that 5 different bank accounts were being.
Ugh.
So luckily it froze up there. But I was at the passport office at the time, so I couldn't use my phone, and I had to just sit there and watch all this stuff unravel.
Oh,
It's pretty
like
helpless.
what is going through your head at that point?
Um, I don't know. I was white as a ghost and numb. There was nothing really going through my head because there was literally nothing I could do about it. I kind of just took to um, the assumption that this too shall pass. It'll be an inconvenience, and I don't know. It took the wind out of my sail, though. I canceled the rest of my plans in Chicago and came home directly after because I just wasn't in the mood to do anything. Luckily, by the time I got home, it was seemingly over, but the damage had already been done. So the following day, I had to spend calling all 3 credit bureaus, going into my banks, signing papers, filed a police report in Chicago.
Yep.
But the scary thing about all this stuff that people should really be aware of, that I guess I was but never thought deeply about, is that once that information is stolen, it's gone. You can't re-break into the house that they took you from and take it back. So once they have it, they have it. And since then I've gotten, I don't know how many spam phone calls, because now my information's on the dark web, which is a very real thing as well. So
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
if you're not protected, I would protect yourself for sure.
And so that's the thing. Once again, if you're just tuning in and you're like, what? Wait, what are they talking about? This is Corey Schonhorst. It's a friend of mine. And we literally just talked about this yesterday. He just went through this. And as you're signing on, if you're like, hey, text somebody, this is what just happened to you. Or, hey, see, this is what can happen. So this is life, Corey, right? That we unfortunately have to have something severe happen and then we react. And that's the reason why a lot of these programs are out there, to be proactive and to protect us. But you hear them, and as we talked about yesterday in the hallway, you think, oh yeah, whatever. It's just another way to get money, and it won't ever happen to me. We all have that mentality, and here you are, as we always talk about the group getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So in the hallway, all of a sudden I turn my head and Corey's like, "Oh yeah, did you hear what happened to me?" I had not heard, but here it is, and it's a real thing, unfortunately. So for those who don't understand, a VPN, you want to explain to them what that is and how that's going to protect them?
Yeah, and just to check, because I'm looking at the comments, it says when we show pictures, the audio goes. So that might be on my end. I'm using a Wi-Fi connection that is protected at this point, so it might be different. Dave, we hear Corey only when he's live. Got it. All right.
Oh,
So
that might be it.
so
Yeah, because
VPN.
right before Corey went on, we added him to all of these pictures, and so that's very interesting that it took you off of them. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. Well, I
We won't show the pictures. We'll just keep it on you and I now.
yeah. Yeah, I think I've had enough pictures shared in the last couple of days. So, but a VPN is basically a protection for your phone. I'm going to get the acronym wrong too, because again, it's not my world. But
Yep.
I would imagine that somebody in the comments here put what that means. But basically, it's a firewall protection, right? So that you're not apt to it. But things that I would definitely say you should do, just as an individual, whether you have that or not. One, you should get a VPN immediately. NWO offers it. You can find them online. But moreover, don't use public Wi-Fi, because what happened to me is called a middleman. And so you think you're signing on to a like a coffee house Wi-Fi or something. It says, the name of the coffee house and then Wi-Fi. And then when it asks you to verify your email, like Starbucks does and some of these other ones, which I won't join those either anymore, but it'll ask you to verify your email. Once you do that, that opens the back door to your HTML address. So I see the question, what do we do to protect ourselves? You get a VPN. You got to get a VPN. It's the only way you'll be ultra protected. But like you were saying with the credit card things, I had experienced that yesterday for the same reason. Now that my information's out there, I had a card that I knew very well has plenty of money on it, and I tried to spend $30, and it was denied. And when I called my bank, they were like, "We're not even showing a charge." So it picked up before it even went through to my bank. Somebody had snatched it, and so now this, I don't know, like you said, it's not a scare tactic. It's not anything that I want anybody to be, pull out all your cash and put it in your mattress like it's the end of the Depression era. But certainly be aware of what you're doing and use familiar things. And when you're using a credit or debit card, just if it asks you to type in your number more than once, don't. Go inside.
Right, which is what you heard us do in the news before, by the way. So this is really interesting. Never had this before, but maybe this is the unbelievable level of protection. So why Corey can't show up in all these pictures is absolutely crazy. But I'm glad that you've got the protection on your phone. So Michelle had just typed in, if you can tell the story over with the cafe. They must have missed that when we dropped in all the pictures. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to take a quick break. For those of you that are just tuning in, we're talking about levels of protection, how to protect yourself. It just happened to Corey. I'm going to tell a story about what happened to a dear friend of mine. And so Corey is saying that you were out about $6,000, but that's going to come back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I filled out that it was fraudulent charge, so it'll take a while, but it should come back to me.
That's good. But a lot of you that have experienced this before, feel free to drop a comment in about what has happened to you or a loved one. Again, we're giving you story after story. And what almost happened, I actually told this several months ago about what almost happened to my mother. Thankfully, a good Samaritan at the store heard her on the phone with someone who was trying to do this to her and was able to stop it. But do you have a story? Share it with us in this, and we'll have Corey tell exactly what happened again at the cafe. And then where do you go from here? How do you protect yourself? We'll have more on this with Corey Schonhorst when we return.
Are you looking for your own little slice of Italy? Then look no further than Viviano's. For over 20 years, Viviano's has been bringing you delicious Italian cuisine and more for dine-in or for you to enjoy at home. With local ingredients you can see on our shelves, it's no wonder you can taste freshness in our meals. Visit us today or go to vivianoscafe.com.
This lady got me in the best shape of my life. I literally didn't know that I could be in shape like that. But the amount that she pours into her clients, and especially whenever you get the one-on-one training, it's mind-blowing. I mean, it was really life-changing. I learned so much about proper form, about nutrition, about just being able to invest in myself. I hired Monica to be my personal trainer, which was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Welcome back once again. If you're just tuning in, The Real Monica Adams Show, 7:30, and we're talking about scammers and just the levels of where they go. I saw something last night, Corey, as I was researching all this and putting all the images together that evidently you can't hear, Corey. You were talking about the dark web, and that's what a lot of the pictures are of, again, the guys in the hoodies and they're, with credit cards on them, and then the levels of protecting yourself. But there's a new one out there, evidently, that it was in the news over the last few months. It's sextortion, and you're seeing these things come to you, and they're showing pictures of your home, and they're saying unless you give money, that they're going to release images of you with your spouse, with your boyfriend, with your girlfriend, whatever, in your home, or things that are being done, and you believe them because they have a picture of your house. They're like, people are like, well, how are they gaining pictures of my home, etc. Look it up, by the way. It was, like I said, it was a lot of articles that was coming up saying that was the latest, and they call that sextortion. And again, with pictures of your home. Don't believe it. I mentioned in the news in the story earlier that if there's something that feels off, if it's in your gut that something's wrong, don't do it. Don't put that credit card in again. There's even things, I don't know, Corey, if you've seen this over the last couple of years, you feel like you can't even trust. You go to the gas station and you go to put your card in, and there's things that are switched around, or you go to an ATM machine and they have these little apparatuses that they put on, and you're swiping and they're getting all that information and then they take it away. I mean, it's like, what is this world that we're in? It's scary, and you've unfortunately experienced it firsthand. So for those that are just tuning in, and for those who were in before that didn't get a chance to hear it, tell them again what happened at the cafe.
Sure. Yeah, and I've definitely heard that little device that they put over the credit card reader.
Yep.
It's like a false reader, and it takes your information. I mean, look, at the end of the day, this has gone on since the beginning of time. These are the same individuals that would have been pickpockets and train robbers. I mean, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just unfortunate that it can get so scary so quick. Because when you really think about victimhood, and this was kind of, I had a friend going through something other that was much more difficult than what my experience was yesterday. Mm-hmm. So when I think about victimhood, I think about inconvenience and fear versus physical harm. Yeah. And so in that sense, I made out okay, right? Everybody in my family okay. But basically what happened was I went into a coffee shop in Chicago, and I logged on to the public Wi-Fi, which I thought was the coffee house Wi-Fi. And there are what they call middlemen. And so a middleman it sets up a log on. So when you log it on and you log on to the internet, and then it asks you to verify your email, and you type in your email, they instantaneously pull all your information. So immediately I received a text message with a photo of myself and all my personal information, basically telling me once I send them money, this will be done. Otherwise, they'll ruin my life. I didn't comply. And so then that same image and information was sent to my entire family in a group thread, including me. And then I texted again back and just said, I don't have money. So I don't know what to do for you. And they said that, yes, you do. Watch this. And then all at once, 5 different bank accounts of mine were tapped into, and they were trying to withdraw money from multiple places around the world at instantaneous on each account. So 3 to 4 times per account, they were getting hit. They got away with 6,000 before everything got frozen. But then the next day was the real nightmare, because now I don't know what's coming down the pipeline. And I had to call all 3 credit bureaus. I had to go into my banks and sign papers. I had to, make amends with people in my family that saw pictures they probably didn't want to see of me.
including your children.
All this was because I decided to try and log on to a coffee house Wi-Fi. And so VPN is what I was talking about. A VPN is a protection service that you can get for your phone or your laptop or both. It's less than $400 a year. I hadn't had it until then. This is not, I don't have stock in this company. I don't own anything.
I was just going to say, I'm like, this isn't a sponsor. This isn't why he's on at all. We're just trying to tell you, you might want to do this.
Yeah, I am a non-paid spokesperson. For a long-time listener, first-time caller, I'm a long-time advocate. In actuality, just a segue of like, oh, it'll never happen to me. But look, for less than $400 a year, I would do it. And the reason I repeat that is I saw a couple questions. How do we protect ourselves? Yes. That's the best way I know how. I'm certainly not an expert in this field. So,
yes,
that's what I would say is the first step.
And so this was yes, Julie just asked the exact same thing that I went home and told my husband, who obviously you all know is a lieutenant with the police. And then we're talking about the FBI that gets into play. And so one of the things that Corey had mentioned earlier that I'm not sure if you heard him say is immediately he called the authorities in where he was. And that is actually the breakdown of some of the articles that I saw. Like, what do you do? What is hacking? What do you do right away? Whether these are the stories from the police. So let me break this down for you. Check whether your bank or your e-commerce accounts have been accessed. He knew that they were. Change all your passwords immediately to new strong ones. And I have people that are in the IT world that say you should actually have a program that just scrambles it and does it for you. And it actually changes it daily. And then, of course, you don't have to think about it anymore. That's another program that we're not getting paid for that is out there. And we're trying to get you to be proactive. I hadn't done it, but now you have this happen to you. And I feel like, all right, just turn it over to where they just constantly do it. You don't have to be remembering passwords. Delete any suspicious apps or unexpected messages. Install and run online protection software like this VPN. If all else fails, restore your phone to its factory settings, but then you lose a lot of data. Inform your friends and other contacts that you've been hacked, and then take steps to secure your phone in the future, including, if you don't have this, enable two-factor authentication on all your accounts. I have that, but it's another layer of it. You contact the police, let them know, as he did. So this is the thing. When I was talking about this last night, I was like, wait a minute. They can get pictures off your phone. And that was the thing that Julie said. How they're accessing that, I don't know. And we don't know all these things that scammers can know how to do. But yes, that was the wake-up call when I was like, wait a minute, there's a picture that he took, and you think it's only on your phone, and then that picture is shown to you, and then you're suddenly in a chat message with your closest family, friends, your children, and you have nothing that you can do about it. And there's that photo in front of them. You did get a comical, we always look for the positive side. You got a comical text, right, from your aunt? Tell them what that was.
Yeah, she just sent a picture of a garment that she was going to overnight to me.
She said, next time wear this, have this on.
Yeah.
Again, we're trying to laugh off something that was very, very serious, but it's the level of protection. And again, Corey from this point forward is just trying to help out all of you to say that you could be prey to this. I've always felt that way though. First of all, I don't drink coffee, so I don't really go to coffee houses, but I don't use Wi-Fi. I use the data on my phone, and you have unlimited data. That's what you should have. And so people will be like, oh, well, don't you need a Wi-Fi? No, I'm using my own data. And it's just scary. And that's the reason why you don't want to not trust the world, but tell me how this is going to change you now.
I'm going to trust overall. I mean, I'll tell you what, I spent a lot of time directly there trying to calm my mind in the middle of the situation. And so I think we talked about this briefly. The long and short of it is, how is it going to change my world? I'm going to be much more self-aware of what's going on. I'm going to be using my data. I'm not using hotspots. I'm not using other things. But in short, kind of how I got through it to wrap up my part here is just thinking about this too shall pass. And then I told you too that by the time I got home, I had a great sense of relief because I spent about 45 minutes of that 5-hour drive just going down the list of everything I had to be grateful for, and really, really having a deep conversation with God about, my fears of this, and then just remembering almost immediately during the conversation I was having with him was, that's not for me to do. That's for you to worry. He doesn't want us to worry. That's a devil thing. And so, not to sound like too much of a thumper about it, like, but it's real. You don't worry about those things, because how I can't control that. So it controlled my energy, controlled everything. So I gave that up and gave it to him. And then I just prayed in gratitude and thought about all the things. And by the time I got down to the list, I mean, I was talking about, the changing of the seasons, waking up and having two eyeballs that work. Every little thing that you think about that is so significant in the broad scheme of things, but insignificant to daily life, because it's kind of like living in St. Louis. How many times do we pass the arch
Yep.
versus how many times we've been up in it?
Yeah, correct.
Right. So we take advantage of things or take things for granted that are with us every day. And so sometimes it's really great to self-reflect and understand how much good you're surrounded by on a regular basis when you're hit with tragedy, no matter how difficult it is, because this too shall pass, and the world's going to keep on turning, and it's a pretty good place overall. Unfortunately, there's just some scumbags that live in it.
There are, and I hope that we can eradicate those more and more. Again, this is one story of millions of people, unfortunately, that are affected by this. So I'm hoping that you take this information and that you do something with it. You don't just listen to it, because that's what has happened in all of our lives. That we hear stories like this and we're just like, okay, and you dismiss. Today, if Corey and I talking about this can help you level up and protect yourself, I hope so. We were talking when Corey told me this yesterday about how he was so looking forward, and you may not have heard that, so looking forward to going to Honduras. You were going to go and actually the guy that you were going to room with, he's like, I lost my roommate. So you were going to like different cigar factories, and they had all these things planned out for you, right?
Yeah. It was going to be a fun trip that I was going to go on with some friends, and a much needed little vacation after all the work we've been doing over there. But now I don't get to go, because that was another thing, is if you have suspicious bank activity and then you're trying to expedite your passport renewal inside of 7 days, they look at that and they frown upon that. They're like, oh, you're trying to go to Central America in 7 days and you just drained all your bank accounts? Okay, well, maybe we should keep you here for a couple weeks.
Right. So he could get his passport, all these things that he was getting ready to go do. And I know it's hard for you in this moment because it's so raw right now. But I sat there and looked, and I'm very faith-based, as you just mentioned, you are as well. And I just thought, I don't know why. And maybe who knows when you'll find out. But at some point you'll realize, so that's why this had to happen, so that this could happen. Or I wasn't supposed to be there. We don't know why. You're not supposed to be going. We also don't know why and I don't know, maybe you weren't supposed to be in Chicago any longer than you were. I mean, we hear all these stories of this had to happen to prevent this from happening. So I'm glad that you're going to get the $6,000 back. I told the story to Corey yesterday, and I want to tell it to all of you. I have a dear friend that I haven't seen in about a year or so, but she was affiliated with a place that I used to work with. And we went to this big gala, Corey and everybody else, and she just seemed different because she always glows. And she's got some great challenges. She's got a son that is profoundly disabled. And I mean, you think about that alone, right? As a mother and having to go, right. But she was so incredible the way she lifted him up and lifted others at this facility. And I could just tell something was off. And I was like, hi, how are you doing? How something like, how have things been? Oh, fine. Just kind of quiet. And then all of a sudden she starts to tear up, and we ask her, and folks, and I'm not saying this again to scare, but listen to the level of what she went through. Something very similar, again, being preyed on, and she doesn't know, and they just keep elevating and elevating. They have all of her information, and then this is where they got her. They said that she gives this money, and it wasn't even, Corey, just online. Suddenly it was knowing where she lived, and it was truly a money drop. Like, they made her go to another level, because once they have you, and this is one of the things that I read in the article that I was researching, and it said, do not continue to have a conversation with them, because once you give them access to anything, then they know that you're a target, and they will try to get more and more and more and try to completely drain you. They drained her, folks, of $1 million. She had been such an advocate for this organization. She'd given so much to them, protecting her son at the place where obviously he was being taken care of. And what they did, this is where they pray. They said that she either gives the money and puts it in this bag and drops it to the car that's coming to pick it up, or they will do something to her son. Oh, and what mother wouldn't do everything they possibly could to protect their son? And so she was talking to my husband and saying, she was white as a ghost, as you said, and this had happened weeks before. So she's still white as a ghost, just thinking about it and thinking, is that going to be able to come back to me? And my husband's trying to calm her and try to give her some kind of hope. But as he looked at me, he's like, she's not going to get it back. It's another one of them that is to this level that knows how to get that out of him. I mean, it got turned over to the FBI. There's an investigation. I hope that something happens to her, but I don't think so. And you sit there and wonder, well, I have all these levels maybe of protection that are helping me. And I'm going to get to that after Corey and I wrap up. I'm going to give you some things of why some of the things that are out there you think that are taking care of you are actually not working. So we know these stories. It almost happened to my mother as well. So in the wrap up, Corey, because there's parts that I don't know of what we talked about that they may not have heard. You mentioned the VPN. Is there anything else from the authorities that you've spoken with that you can pass along that they've told us to do?
Primarily those two things: get a VPN for your phone and your laptop, and then also don't join public Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So your phone, like you were saying, your phone has plenty of data to use on it. If you do need to use your laptop, oftentimes your phone will have a personal hotspot, and those devices are usually shared, especially if they're Apple. And then Apple also has a program within it that you were saying that changes your passwords and stores your passwords.
Yep.
So you can just use facial recognition, two-factor authentication.
Yep.
It's one of those things where, again, not to say it in a fear tactic manner, but you can batten down the hatches, and then you just got to wait for the storm. So it's better to be protected and not have it. But also insurance. So like with my trip and those things, I'd already booked my flights and done that stuff.
Yep.
When you're booking flights, when you're doing trips, make sure you get trip insurance. Make sure you get flight insurance, which I did, and I always do, because it was one of those things like we've all had this time when we're leaving the house and we think about something we're forgetting,
Yep.
but we think we won't need that item today, whether
Right.
it's a pen, a notebook. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't need that the next 2 hours. I'm going to go ahead and leave.
Yep.
And then you get into a situation, you're like, oh, shoot, I need that thing that I forgot.
Right.
So protection for your insurance for flights and that kind of thing is one of those things where a while back I had not had it because I always am at the airport on time. Nothing's ever wrong. And then I had to repay for a flight. So
Yep.
I always do that now. Trip protection, airline protection, so you can make sure that if something does happen, you have it in there. It's another $30 or $40. So get that stuff as well. But,
well, see, and that's honestly all these things that we're talking about. You hear about VPNs, maybe you hear about paying a couple $100, a few $100, and people look at it and they dismiss it. And again, they think, oh, that's just a money grab. You hear about security protection for trips, and it's always waiting. You don't want to play the waiting game. You don't want to wait until something like this happens and then do it and then be reactive. So I hope you hear the message today that we're trying to get you to be proactive in this, not trying to scare you, just trying to bring awareness that this is a possibility. So, Corey, thank you for telling your story. Let's do a little more positive and happiness before we wrap up. If you don't know and you haven't heard, I have had Corey on the show before, actually many, many months ago back. I think it was in July or August when I first met Corey, and it was at Adventure Unknown, and we did our mobile Monica from there. And we all started talking about the idea of transition and new things to come for 2025. So you're going to hear more about Corey and Punchline Productions, because Corey is who I'm going to be working with side by side, hand in hand, wanting to do really great things for our world. So tell them a little bit about Punchline and plans that you have for this year and beyond.
Sure. And, thank you for that. And thank you for trusting us to handle that. Punchline is something that I started a show to try and help myself grow last summer after going through some other things, not identity theft, but different things, and wanted to help myself kind of learn some resilience, learn some healthy habits, and then took on the mindset of doing it until you become it rather than faking it until you make it, because it's never too late for any of us to be exactly what we want to be. And if we're a good person at our core, we can let that out, forgiving ourselves and healing and doing different things. And through that process, kind of organically, one of my guests on my show started a show, and it has snowballed from there. We are at 26 shows on our network. including yours now with joining us for time to time, which is fantastic. So we're excited to have you on as a guest with some of our shows coming up. And I think that what we've really aspired to do is reach a certain level of production value, and that's what your consult has helped me to do with what I'm doing over there at Punchline, and that is make sure that our markers are the same, and things that I was overlooking being too close to the painting and didn't have the same experience, we're able to talk through and understand, like, this window's in the shot over here, and it's not over there. And it's funny because those things are the inconsistencies that you see on like Mojo. They'll be like, oh, what was wrong with this movie? And it's like he had a cigar in his mouth in one photo, and then it cuts back and doesn't have it.
Exactly.
So just looking at those little things, but we have been just exponentially blessed with increasing viewership, increasing shows. We've got shows under Punchline that have over 130 episodes. And when you look at the podcast world, everything is moving towards this because you can view it on, like you're saying, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, X, LinkedIn, TikTok, all these different platforms, and you can hear it on all these other platforms. And that's really the only way to capture an audience and spread your word around these days, is to do it multiple channels all at once, because much like the hacker got me, if you're doing it just one way, you're probably not going to get everything. So we want to make sure and spread it across the board and spread the love, but just been surrounded by amazing people. We've got Randy Carricker was my co-host the other day on Punchline, and Reed Lowe's in and out of the studio all the time, and Cam Jansen has a show on there, and Twister was in the other day, Tony Twist, and Andy Mueller, just amazing people, So we've had kind of a who's who of St. Louis. Jimmy Hayes. I'm excited about Cat's Corner getting going when that deal is worked out. So just a bunch of really fun stuff. And my most exciting moment to date of 2025 is the new prospect of having a full kitchen set to do cooking segments and cooking shows from. So we're really rocking and rolling, and it's I'll take a very small percentage of that credit, and I'll give many of it, much more of it, to the people that are around me, to supporting the idea, spreading the word. Of course, Sam Job, who I just put on there the other day, just an amazing talent who's always trying to get better. And Zach on your show, we have a lot of problem solvers, young individuals that want to step up and take the reins on things, and they go to work, and that's so rare in that generation for them to say, work first, ask later for things, right? They
Right.
come in with a servant's heart, and they're amazing kids.
Yeah, I don't know how old is Sam?
I say kid. I mean, he's under 30. He's 25.
Well, right. No. I want to stress this because we started something, and I want to bring it back, called Generational Talk, or Gen Talk. And for everyone that sees and hears of a 20-something-year-old and think, oh, they don't work hard, that's not true. I mean, we are thinking. I think Zach, I believe, is 25. I don't know how old Sam is, but pretty much in that same age range. And they show up, and they're workhorses and problem solvers. But the thing that I love, which is rare in the industry that we came from, is they are so calm and so patient and so kind. And normally you hear every expletive out of someone's mouth that's a director and a producer, and that is not the case. In fact, Sam, what does Sam do if somebody cusses?
Well, he doesn't do anything to them per se.
He just asks you. I didn't know if he had a jar that you have to pay money.
No, but he should have one, because he'd make a lot of money. Because especially working with all these hockey alumni, he'd make a few $100 a day probably.
And he doesn't work on Sundays, right?
He won't work on Sundays. If he
I love him. I love this kid. Linda just said, thank you, Corey, for sharing your story. I've always tried to be cautious, but now even more. Okay, that's what we asked for. That's what you heard today. She said she's never trusted public Wi-Fi, and now she won't even more. Thank you for sharing your terrible experience. And yes, I asked him, and that's really what I want to say, is I tossed the ball, and he just knocked it out of the park in a grand slam. He could have said no. Actually, there was a side of him that said, is it going to make me an even bigger target? No, it's been there already. Now he's got his security. I hope that all of you look into, and again, the company, and there's other ones that are out there, but the company that you mentioned at the beginning that I don't know if they heard is what? There it is. NW, what is it?
NWO.
Oh, not
so
NWA.
Look up NWO on they're right here in St. Louis too. They'll come out to you and they'll talk with you over the phone. Really nice people. and they're not here to make money off of you. They just want to protect you. And so I'm recommending them not only because I knew them, but because when I had this issue and they reached out to me because I had known the individual who owns the company, and he's like, hey, what can we do? How can we help you? What do you need? And then put me on a group text with his whole team and was like, here's what happened. Take care of it. And they were there. I mean, they were texting and calling me as if they were lifelong friends right there. And look, it's a one-time fee, right? Again, I don't have stock. I'm an unpaid spokesperson, but it's so worth it. And if you don't use them, use somebody. Just search up VPN protection, but ask around, check the reviews,
Well, and I bet a lot of you, I mean, again, some people are like, oh, I've never even heard of VPN. Now look it up, understand what it is. At the TV stations, we absolutely had VPNs, and you understand why. And it shouldn't be to, oh, you got to have this major corporation. No, it's Bob, Susie, and the major corporations that all need it, because it's always that extra level of protection to try to, prevent this kind of thing from happening that I wish wouldn't have happened to you. I'm glad some things are coming back to you. I hate that you're missing the Honduras trip, but there are more trips to come, my friend.
Yeah, luckily I belong to a club that has a whole plethora of them year round. So
Yes, exactly. That's the thing we love about Adventure Unknown. Well, we're excited, and we don't have the exact date. We might don't know. We're getting ready to go to do some testing. We may do a soft opening of the studios on Monday, but then we'll have the big grand opening. And Corey's been watching behind the scenes of it all putting together. Anything you want to tease them with that's going on with the studio? We don't want to show it to them yet, but what are you excited about? Because you've watched it kind of all unfold.
Oh, I didn't know how far along we were. I don't know if you noticed earlier, I kind of held back when I said, oh, join the team, 26 shows. I didn't know what we had released already.
No. I mean, no. That's been released, but as far as how it's going to look, because
it looks fantastic. We have lobby areas being built out. You and I were kind of talking about some ideas of how to make it even more aesthetically pleasing. It's like walking onto a television set, and all encompassing through the studios. One thing I will say is there's a lot of these things popping up. Yep. What I'm most excited about with the team that we have surrounding us is that I'm not worried about competition, not because we're better than anyone, but because of the love that's within that group of individuals and how much everybody within this, hosts, producers, directors, wants to genuinely see everyone else succeed. Yeah. We've had some people come and go, but the people that have stuck by, the people that are gravitating towards us, are all genuine team players, and these are all individuals who are like-minded in their belief system, that if we lead with a servant heart, the money follows, and that is good, genuine people, many of which I probably wouldn't have picked to be friends with had I not known them in this capacity first, but I couldn't be better friends with now because it's just the amount of genuineness. And like, I get text messages from people that I work with now that say, hey, I'm proud of you. Great show today, or good job today. And these are men, mainly men or women in some cases, that have their own stuff going on. They have their own time constraints, their independence. And you and I have exchanged texts like, oh, great job, or this and that. And it's just very uplifting. It's a fun environment. And many times in my life, I've felt pretty good about something, but never have I had a complete and secure mindset that this is what I will do until I no longer work. And I couldn't be happier to be headed up with Punchline Productions and teaming up with so many individuals that are fantastic, especially yourself. So I'm excited about 2025.
I am as well, and beyond, right? So we said we are transitioning. So it's officially 2 years tomorrow when we started the show. So 2 years, we'll have a celebration of 500 shows all next week. We're going to take a break. I'm going to let Corey go. I will be heading off to Adventure Unknown very soon to do our final testing. And yeah, big things to come. But actually, it's the same thing. So reach out to myself and Corey, because we would love for you to be a part of this growth. And you and I both are excited about the kitchen. I'm excited to bring back a restaurant segment that we did for 8 years in radio. And Corey actually comes from the background of radio. So he's a very intelligent, very creative, and very kind person. And that kindness breeds kindness. So the negativity of what tried to happen to you, again, as you mentioned before, this too shall pass. And God bless you for that, because I know there was so much you were looking forward to, but as we said, some bigger things to come for sure. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your story and for hopefully getting people to wake up and realize that it's out there and it's a possibility. But we're going to protect you now. Thanks to Corey's story. Corey, thank you. Have a beautiful day.
All right, you as well. See you later.
All right, everybody. We'll be right back.
Create beautiful gardens and landscaped areas with everything you need at Hoffman Hillerman Nursery and Florist. A great selection of outdoor and indoor plants, gardening items, landscape materials, lawn and garden equipment, and much more. Hoffman Hillerman Nursery and Florist.
This lady got me in the best shape of my life. I literally didn't know that I could be in shape like that. But the amount that she pours into her clients, and especially whenever you get the one-on-one training, it's mind-blowing. I mean, it was really life-changing. I learned so much about proper form, about nutrition, about just being able to invest in myself. I hired Monica to be my personal trainer, which was one of the best decisions I've ever made.
And you can email me for that. As you can see, physically, mentally, spiritually, let's help you. info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com is my email address. All right, let's talk about it all because it's coming for you next week. So tomorrow, 2 years, thanks to you. Next week, big celebrations. And let's go ahead and put them on the ticker. We're going to have 2 tickers here. This is what's going on in the world. I told you we started this so that if you want to be caught up on things that are happening throughout the world, we'll do that from Fox, from New York Times, from CNN, from Fox Sports, from different financial aspects. So it's always going to be changing for you. The shows that are coming, we're going to start with them in order. So Monday, we're thinking of doing a soft opening of the new studios, and we're going to have on Susan Galvin and Dr. Sarah Franco. Remember Sarah? So Sarah, she's been busy doing a lot of things, but she and her husband are collaborating with this woman in Australia. And I want you to hear the story about someone who was knocked down thinking that she's a young mother and this job taken away. What does she do with it? She leans in on what she knew, what she loved, what her passion was, and decided to go for it in a very male-dominated industry, I will say. So Susan Galvin and Dr. Sarah Franco will be our guests, along with possibly debuting the studio in a soft opening. And why do I say the soft opening? Because when it comes to the actual ribbon cutting and the grand opening, I want you all to be there if you want to. I know it's going to be during the mornings, and some of you have to run off to work or take the kids to school, so you can watch it obviously all unfold. But we did have a lot of you show up a couple of years ago for that and line the hallway. So as Corey and I were just mentioning, we're looking to decorate that hallway so we can line it again with my family, with my friends who I want to thank, who have supported us, but then more businesses that are coming on board with us and more businesses that are intrigued of doing so. So you'll be able to come over, see that, and then go in and see Adventure Unknown. So we'll mingle together, have a little breakfast together, etc. So as you're seeing on the bottom here, next week, besides that happening on Monday, then on Tuesday, we will be at Extra Mile Fitness. Now, it's funny how this all played out because yes, our studios are now going to be in Fenton. I didn't do this on purpose, but it happens to be that we are going to be in Fenton a lot for the 500 celebration. So we'll be at Extra Mile Fitness, where they do a lot of personal training and group training. We're going to have our show at 6:30 in the morning that day. And that'll be starting off with a workout like you're seeing all of them go through, the supports that they all have for each other. That's on Tuesday. Wednesday, Hello Juice and Smoothie. This is going to be at the Kirkwood location, and that'll be at 9 a.m. on Wednesday, which means we're not going to do a full-blown 7 a.m. show because we've got a lot that we're planning for shows at all different times. So it will be the regular morning on Tuesday. Wednesday, I might pop on real quick just to remind you that we're going to do a 9 a.m. show again at the Kirkwood location of Hello Juice and Smoothie. And then on Thursday, Viviano's and Chef Mel and all of you will be together for a show at 4 p.m. in the afternoon through 5:30 p.m. We're going to be able to have some samples of the wonderful meatballs and pizza and wine samples, giveaways galore, and we're going to do an auction for a children's charity for a watch from Susan. This is who you'll see on with me on Monday, Susan Galvin. In fact, these are the watches that she's sending our way. She's got many. You can go to galvinwatchcompany.com.au. You have to put in the .au because it's in Australia. So galvinwatchcompany.com.au. We will be auctioning off for a charity. You know, we're all very charitable minded at Viviano's. So that afternoon, if you're coming, 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Also, I did talk to Michael from Viviano's, and he asked, again, just to help them out a little bit, if you can make reservations if you're sticking around for dinner. So if you're coming just to mingle with us for about an hour, you don't have to because we'll be in a separate room. But I'm sure a lot of you will want to stick around and enjoy the fabulous food that they have there. So if you can make reservations, that would be great. If you've done it already, thank you. And then the culmination of the big celebration happens at Tidy John's, which is in Fenton. Tidy John's Deli and Grill, and they are open at 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. throughout the week. They are closed on Sunday, by the way, but Monday through Thursday, 7 to 3. And then on Friday and Saturday, they actually are open all the way through 8 p.m. So I didn't get a chance to show you this the other day, but I put this together last night. So the Tidy John, there it is on your screen. And we talk about the balance of life, that American classic, our way: ground beef, pickles, fried onions, served on a grilled white bun. But they have so much more on their menu, from the burgers to an Italian sandwich, a combo, a turkey bacon club, ham and cheese, and more things for the kids as well. And then now they have breakfast with, look at those sides: white cheddar mac and cheese. They've got smoky coleslaw that's really, really good. But you can have that morning at Tidy John's on Friday a rise and grind, a breakfast sandwich, a little biscuit and gravy, whatever you would like. I just want to thank everyone that has played a role in booking us for the events that will take place next week. And I hope to see as many of you as possible. And if you can come to multiple ones, hey, that would be great as well. I know some of you are already planning that, which is really awesome. Thank you, by the way, for being a part of it. And really, as I mentioned, thank you for waking up every morning and being here for us. We're going to be there for you, but I want to make sure that you show up and that you then share the love and spread it to your family and friends. Ask them to follow, or we say the word subscribe. Subscribing simply on YouTube means just to make sure that you get notified when we're coming up again. So continue to take these numbers up higher and higher as we do some really amazing things together. Katie, Monica is an amazing trainer. Highly recommend her for training and as a life coach. You're such a sweetheart, Katie. I have loved being a part of your life, and you're just absolutely a remarkable human being. Every client that's ever come into my life is something that means the world to me. So I greatly appreciate that. Okay, it is 8:07. Let's do our devotional because I got to rush off to Adventure Unknown to do our testing so that we're ready to go for you come the soft opening or for our big grand opening. We'll let you know over the weekend, by the way, if we are going to do the soft opening from there. So I'm going to go back to this one. This is the Jesus Listens book. Delightful Jesus, help me to walk into the light of your presence, acclaiming you, rejoicing in your name, exulting in your righteousness. To acclaim you is to praise you in a strong and enthusiastic way, including shouts and applause. I rejoice in your name by delighting in all that you are, my Savior, my Shepherd, my Lord, my God, my Sovereign King, my friend who loves me with an unfailing love. If you don't think Corey went through all of these on his drive home from Chicago, trust me, he did. I heard about the prayers. I heard about the awakening. I heard about the appreciation of life and the breath in the lungs and the greenness that's coming, the tulips that are popping their little heads up, all these things that you need to see in a whole nother way that maybe you have taken for granted. That's what he was saying. Don't take them for granted any longer. Let's do a little market watch for you. I'm going to switch it up as we're doing this. I exult in your righteousness by reveling in the wondrous truth that you gave this priceless holy gift to me. Your perfect righteousness is already credited to my account, even though I continue to battle sin in my life. The sin that's out there, that's coming at you. When I'm walking in your glorious light, your blood cleanses me from all sin, as I seek to live near you, freely admitting I'm a sinner in need of forgiveness. Your radiant presence purifies me. Moreover, this blessing of cleansing enables me to have fellowship with other believers. Lord, I delight in walking in the light with you, enjoying your bright and your loving presence. In your brilliant name, amen. Again, from our friend Sarah Young, Jesus Listens. She also has the book, that we read from yesterday, Jesus Calling, and then we read from Stephen Arterburn's 100 Days to Freedom books. So I hope that you take the message from today and that you protect yourself and that you protect others. If you do nothing with it, I hope nothing happens to you. If something does happen to you, I hope you then realize the level of protection that you need. This was such a wake-up call. And so I hope, again, that it helps you along. I hope you have a beautiful day. Get out. I walked the dogs yesterday. They absolutely loved the fact that they weren't putting their little paws in snow any longer. Now we had a beautiful day, but as Beckett mentioned at the beginning, we do have a cold change happening tomorrow. And then, by the way, be very weather aware, the possibility of some severe weather that could take place next week. So he'll be back on with us on Monday, possibly coming to you live from our new studios. Otherwise, we will be out like crazy with each and every one of you next week. I can't wait to give hugs. I can't wait to celebrate together, maybe even have some tears. We can guarantee that we will have some laughs together for sure. And then some big things planned on the show. But what about you? Do you have a guest that you would like for us to have on? Do you have a topic that you think that we need to cover, whether it's something that you think we should shine the spotlight on locally or nationally? Just let me know. And if you want to become a sponsor, like all these other great people, Defiance Ridge Vineyards and our Wet Your Whistle Wednesday, we have Positive Talk Time with Jessica Cook. By the way, send her prayers again because she's dealing with that crazy virus like many people are. We also are looking forward to having more people come back on the show that were past sponsors, and some exciting new ones that I don't want to say yet because we've got to get the ink on the paper. And once that's dry, I will announce, because Corey, I think, was going to let the cat out of the bag, but we didn't say who. There is somebody tied to that restaurant segment we're going to be doing. And then I have meetings that have been out there. And if I've been meeting with you, I'm just going to tell you this: pull the trigger, make it happen, have this wonderful light that is coming from this wonderful community shined on your business. Those are the amazing things to come. All right. I said yesterday that I had something planned that was for a lot of you that enjoy this particular thing that you will recognize. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate it. And sorry you couldn't hear Corey. That is the craziest thing. I've never seen that before. He and I worked hard on getting ready for the show, but I guess it's his level of protection. I'm wondering if that, I hope that doesn't continue to happen with other guests that we have on. We've got all this stuff lined up and then suddenly it doesn't want you inside of that picture, which was absolutely crazy. Put this together, by the way, to thank my team as we go into tomorrow for 2 years of just incredible positivity. So as Corey and I both said, we couldn't do what we do every day without the love and support of our family, our friends, and the team that we choose to surround ourselves with. So you'll see this a lot over the next week. God bless you all. Thank you. And thank you to all of these wonderful people.